Hello children, hope you all are well and safe at home. Now you may be wondering why I am standing here in my garden. So this is my pastime. I often come to my garden to look around my plants and the small butterflies fluttering around me. Now here I am going to tell you about something special in this video. Now you can see around I am standing under a guava plant. Now this plant have thousands of leaves in it. It may have small flowers and fruits, okay, hanging down from the branches. You can see this small lily plant with a blooming flower in it. Now, what I'm going to tell you right now, that is, this plant, the flowers, the butterfly around me, myself, all these things are made up of a tiny substance. Now, this tiny unit is known as cell. Okay, now cell is the basic unit of every living organism. It may be a plant or maybe an animal. Okay, now let's have a look in my upcoming videos regarding cell and its composition. So students, watch my videos. Hello children, class 9. Now your first chapter in biology is chapter 5, the fundamental unit of life. Now this word, fundamental unit of life, so something is hidden in this line, isn't it? So in class 8, even in class 7, you have learned about a little bit about cell. And in class 8, you have already learned about some of the organs related with the cell. Now here we are going in a broad sense about cell and its parts and how does it work. Now see, before going into details, let me tell you why cell is called the structural and functional unit of life. Now see, for making a house, what do you need? Bricks, stone, rod, cement. These are the raw materials. Now like that only, a cell is the structural unit of life. Means it forms a structure of the living organism. Like the bricks make the fundamental structure of a house. Like this you see, when the house become eligible for living, when you find a house to be living, it becomes a home. When you your family is there, you are getting a water supply, electric supply in the house, isn't it? So like that, in a cell also, it becomes functional when the various organ systems, they work together. So it is the functional unit of life that carry on various functions for living. Okay, now before going into details, let us have a look about the discovery. Now see, this name Robert Hooke is very well known to you all people and even to a biologist. Now in the year 1665, Robert Hooke discovered cell in his self-made microscope, which was a very primitive microscope. Now he was just working with the bark, the cork of a birch tree. Now what is cork? Cork is the thing which is made out of the bark of some tree. Now here the cork that was used by Robert Hooke was taken from a birch tree. Okay, now what he has seen under his self-made microscope, he saw some brick wall-like structure and named as cella. In Latin, cella means little room. So he looked it as little room or a honeycomb-like structure. The honeycomb-like, you know what is a honeycomb? Honeycomb means what? The beehive, the hive where the bees live. So this is a honeycomb-like structure. Now see, here I have not drawn any nucleus. Why? Because Robert Hooke saw the cell in a dead state because it was a cork. Now cork is the non-living part of a plant. So this cell was dead. Only the cell wall was there. So he only viewed the cell wall. In latter part, he gone through many activities and later many scientists discovered the various parts of cell and even the living cell was discovered far later. Now before going into that, I will tell you about some of the magnifying tools. The next topic is magnifying tools. Now there are a few magnifying tools. First is the hand lens. Hand lens is there in your dissection box. You can use the dissection box from class 9, you know what is a hand lens. So it's the simplest form of magnifying tool. Next come light microscope, compound microscope that we use in our schools and colleges regularly. And last come the electron microscope, which is very expensive and it's very huge microscope where we can see various virus and many other very small microscopic and submicroscopic structures. Now the next topic is about the various landmarks related to the discovery of cell. Now what are the landmarks? Now first have a look on the name of the scientists, the year of discovery and the things that they have discovered. The first is Robert Hooke. Now Robert Hooke is a pioneer scientist to know all. In 1665 he discovered cell. Then come Leeuwenhoek. In 1674 he discovered free living cell from pond water. Next come Robert Brown. In 1831 he discovers nucleus in the cell. That means the cell was a living. Okay. Next comes Schleiden and Swan. Schleiden and Swan, they both put together a theory that is known as cell theory in the year 1938. Next come Purkinje. Purkinje in the year 1839, he coined the term protoplasm. Next comes Virchow. In 1855, he expanded the cell theory which was put forward by Schleiden and Swan. Next comes Nolan Ruska. They invented electron microscope in the year 1940. So children, the next topic is characteristics of cell. I have not written here the characteristics, I am just verbally telling you. You can note it down in your copy if you want it. So you see, there are a few characteristics of cell. Now what are the few characteristics which are very important, okay, to decide that these are the basic characteristics of cell. First is, they have the ability to replicate independently. So what is replication? That I will be telling you when I will be teaching you about nucleus. Okay, so every cell has the ability to replicate independently. Next is, they contain hereditary information. What is the hereditary information? DNA. Where it is present? Inside the nucleus. Okay. Next, third point of a cell is they can perform all the life sustaining activity of their own. That means whether it is a unicellular or a multicellular animal, every cell has a life sustaining activity. Like every cell metabolizes, every cell has the basic functions, okay, to perform activity for sustaining life. And the fourth point is, they show similar chemical composition and metabolic activity. Whatever cell may be, but the chemical composition is more or less same. That is the composition of cell membrane. Okay, the components inside the cell, these are all same almost. Next, I am telling about the shapes of cell. Now see, I have written one point here. The shape of cell depends on its function. Yes, it is very true. See, if there is a big elephant and you compare the shape of a cell of an elephant with that of a rat, you can see that the cell size do not vary. In spite of the elephant being very large than that of a rat, but the cell size is more or less same. So here the cell size does not depend upon the size of the organism, but it depends upon the function of the cell that it performs. Clear? Next come the various shapes of human cells. Now see, human being is a multicellular animal. We have various organs, various organ systems. Every organ system has a specific function. Like you see, I have drawn here smooth muscle cell. So what is the smooth muscle cell? Smooth muscle cell are present in visceral organs, with internal organ like stomach, duodenum. So here we can find smooth muscle cell. See the shape, tapering at the end and bulged in the middle. Next comes sperm. Sperm is the very tiny and the tiniest cell in human body found in males. Fat cell, globular in shape. Okay, nerve cell, branched and very long, nearly it is 1 meter in length. Why? Because its function is conduction or impulse. Okay, so these are the various shapes of the cell. The shape of cell depend on the function. Clear? So children, the last day you have studied about the various types of cell in human body, and also I have given a brief description about the discovery of cell. Now today I am going to discuss about the structural organization of a cell. That means what are the components present in a cell. So generally a living cell contains plasma membrane, which is also known as cell membrane or plasma lemma. And the next component in a cell is a nucleus, cytoplasm. Now if it is a plant cell or a bacterial cell or a fungal cell, then an additional membrane called cell wall is also present. Now inside the cell, in the cytoplasm, there lies various subcellular components known as cell organelles. Now these cell organelles of various types. Now have a look here. The first cell organelle that I have mentioned here is Golgi complex, which is known as Golgi apparatus 2. Next come endoplasmic reticulum, which is again divided into two types, ACR and RER, smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum. Then comes mitochondrion, it is the singular form of mitochondria. Then comes lysosome, and finally in a plant cell we can find plastid, but not in an animal cell. Now plastid is again divided into three types, leucoplast, chloroplast, chromoplast. Now leucoplast is again divided into three types, amyloplast, elioplast and oreoplast. And finally there are vacuole in a cell. So see, these are the compositions of a cell. Now you see here I have written some of the compositions of the various components of cell. The plasma membrane. The plasma membrane is made up of phospholipid and protein. The nucleus composed of nuclear envelope, nucleolus, chromatin thread. Now this chromatin thread undergo thickening and it transforms into rod-like chromosomes during cell division. Then come cell organelles. Now in the cell organelles you see, I have already mentioned you about the cell organelles. Now here you see the various cell organelles are composed of various substances. Next come the plant cell wall. It is made up of cellulose. In fungus it is made up of chitin, and in bacterial cell the cell wall is composed of peptidoglycan. Now have a look to the functions of the various components of cell. Next have a look on the function of various components of the cell. The first of all is plasma membrane. Now plasma membrane is very selective. It is also known as semi-permeable membrane because it permits certain substances selectively inside the cell. Now plasma membrane keeps away toxic substances from the cell. It is also known as selectively permeable membrane, I told you earlier. So it permits only selected materials to go inside a cell through a receptor molecule. Now the nucleus. Now nucleus has a very immense role because the nucleus is also known as the brain of the cell. The nucleus helps in cellular reproduction, that means cell division or mitosis. Nucleus also plays an important role in the transmission of hereditary materials, that is DNA or genetic materials. It also controls the cellular metabolism of a cell. Next come the cytoplasm. Now cytoplasm, it exchanges the material between the cell organelles. It acts as a storehouse of vital biomolecules within, and also it is a site of certain metabolic pathways in the cell. And finally the function of the cell wall. Now generally cell wall provide mechanical strength to the cell. Now plasmadesmata, these are plasmadesmata are intracytoplasmic strand which are present between two adjacent cells. The plasmadesmata which is present in the adjacent cell, it connects the two adjacent cell for exchange of materials. And lastly, it regulates the solute and solvent concentration across the cell. So these are certain functions of the various components of cell. Next, the function of like hypotonic solution, hypertonic solution and isotonic solution. So what does these terms mean to you? Then we are going to discuss it here. The topic is how does a cell exchange material within it. Now you have heard the term diffusion. The diffusion is the movement of molecule from higher to lower concentration. This is diffusion. Now in a cell, diffusion may occur in situations when suppose inside the cell the carbon dioxide concentration is very high. Then carbon dioxide has to be released out. Or suppose oxygen contained in the cell has decreased. So the cell want to exchange oxygen from the environment. In such conditions, the gaseous exchange takes place through diffusion inside or outside a cell. So diffusion plays an important role in gaseous exchange in between two cells or adjacent cells, as well as between cell and its surrounding environment. Now see, there is a term osmosis. Now osmosis is a special type of diffusion where movement of generally water molecule takes place across a selectively permeable membrane. Now you already read what is selectively permeable membrane, that is plasma membrane. So when water molecule move across the cell with the help of a selectively permeable membrane, then it is called osmosis. Now here you can see I have drawn 3 diagrams of 3 types of solutions. Now what are the solutions and when does it work and how does it work? Now see, suppose if a medium surrounding the cell, this is a beaker I have drawn here, the surrounding medium is water. So in the surrounding medium of the cell, this is the oval structure, suppose it is a cell. Now this surrounding medium inside the beaker have a higher concentration. Okay, what concentration is higher? Water. So water concentration inside the cell is higher, while inside the cell the concentration of solute is high but solvent is less. In that case, water molecule will rush inside the cell. Okay, and this rushing of water inside the cell through the cell membrane will result in the swelling of the cell, and this is endosmosis, a type of osmosis. So here when does this condition take place? In hypotonic solution. Hypotonic means what? Hypotonic, which is the hypotonic here? That is when the inside the cell the concentration of the water is less and outside the environment the concentration of water is more. In that case, water will enter inside the cell by endosmosis. Next comes hypertonic solution. Hypertonic means when the tonicity or the concentration of the outside environment, outside the cell is high and inside the cell the solvent is high. So inside the cell the solvent is high, solute is less, and outside environment the solvent is less and the solute is high. So it will, what will take place? Just the reverse of the hypertonic solution, that is exosmosis will take place. That is, from the cell water will be released out. This is called exosmosis. Okay, and the last one is isotonic solution. In this condition, suppose the concentration of solvent outside the cell and the concentration of solvent inside the cell is same, almost same. So the amount of water entering and leaving will be equal. So there will be no net movement of molecule of water or solvent inside or outside the cell, and this condition is called isotonic. There will be no net movement. No net movement will be zero. So these are the 3 types of solutions. So children, you might be wondering what funny thing I have drawn here, or what type of burger or sandwich is drawn here. Exactly, this is not a burger nor a sandwich, but this is a fluid mosaic model of a plasma membrane. So see, it was actually discovered by S.J. Singer and G. Nicholson in the year 1972. So according to this model, the cell membrane is made up of bilayer. What bilayer? Lipid bilayer. So cell membrane is made up of bilayer. So this is one layer, this is another layer, 2 layers. So these bilayer of lipid molecule are present in a cell membrane, and there are 2 types of proteins, okay, that are embedded within this bilayer. So this lipid is, the nature of the lipid is phospholipid. Now these are the proteins which are embedded in the bilayer of lipid. These facing outside, these proteins which are facing outside are known as extrinsic protein. Okay, and those protein you can see here which are embedded within the bilayer of lipid are known as intrinsic protein. Okay, so these are facing inside. Now see, this lipid layer consists of phospholipid, and this is highly viscous fluid. Now the intrinsic protein are found completely inserted in the lipid bilayer, and the extrinsic protein, they lie on the outer surface superficially on the both sides. Now this presence of lipid and the protein provide flexibility of the plasma membrane. You know that cell wall is very rigid while plasma membrane is very flexible. So these lipid bilayer provide flexibility to the cell membrane. Now this model of plasma membrane was named as fluid mosaic model. Now you may be wondering why it is called fluid mosaic model. Now because it looks like a number of protein icebergs. These proteins look like icebergs which are floating in the sea of lipids. So these lipids may be the sea of, okay, like a sea, like in the Antarctic Ocean, the icebergs are floating. So like that, these lipid within the lipid bilayer, the proteins are floating like icebergs. Now these proteins are present in the plasma membrane, act as enzymes. They also act as transport protein. They also act as the pump and receptor proteins. Now this model is most accepted model. Why? Because it provides a satisfactory explanation of the structure and function of plasma membrane. So understood? Now let me discuss about few functions of plasma membrane which are very important. First is the plasma membrane, as it is flexible, it provides shape to the cell. It protects the cell from injuries. It acts as a channel between inner and outer surrounding of the environment, and it also allows the entry and exit of some selective molecules, and it also provides an individuality of the cell because it acts as a membrane, and it also binds to certain cell organelles together within the cytoplasm. Okay, and the junctions of cell membrane keep the cells together. So these are certain functions. Now what are the advantages of the selectively permeable membrane of the plasma membrane? That is, it selects certain important molecules within the cell. It actually useful metabolic intermediates are that remain embedded in the cell. It removes only the secretion and metabolic waste from the cell. So these are certain importance why the plasma membrane is selectively permeable. The next day I will be telling you about the cell theory and the functions of the cell organelles. Okay. So children, I hope you understood about cell, its composition, function, and the various aspects of osmosis, diffusion, and plasmolysis. So if you have any doubts, any queries, any suggestions, you can comment me. Okay. Bye. Take care. Stay safe.